Do you know what is truly frightening, my friends? It is not the fact that you are poor. It is not the fact that you must labor from morning until night. What is frightening is that you can live your whole life that way, working yourself into the grave, and still die with nothing but excuses. Excuses do not pay debts. Excuses do not feed your family. Excuses do not build empires. I saw this truth very early in my life, because I was not born into comfort. I was not handed a fortune. My father was unreliable, a drifter, a man who left responsibility behind him. My mother was the anchor of the family, devout, disciplined, but she had no riches to hand down. I was the eldest son, and it fell upon me to be the man of the house before I had even reached manhood. That necessity hardened me. It gave me the one advantage that most people never gain, the hunger to be more than my circumstances. At 16 years of age, I took a job as a bookkeeper, earning 50 cents a day. 50 cents. And yet to me, it was the key to the world. For in those ledgers, I saw not just numbers, but lessons. I learned how businesses lived and how they died. I learned how some men prospered because they controlled their costs, while others collapsed because they wasted what little they had. And most importantly, I kept my own ledger. Every penny I earned, every penny I spent, I recorded with care. Do you understand what that did to me? It forced me to face myself in numbers, to see my own habits laid bare. Money is the truest mirror of a man. It reveals whether he is disciplined or wasteful, whether he lives with vision or with impulse. Most men cannot bear to look into that mirror, so they remain blind. And blindness, my friends, is the first cause of poverty. With that ledger, I saved my first $100. $100 carefully protected, carefully built until it became something more than savings. I loaned it at interest. I discovered the law of compounding, that money itself can breed if you put it to work. That was my first taste of real power. That was the line that separates the man who works his whole life for wages from the man who builds an empire. Most of you sell your time, but time does not multiply. It vanishes. If you trade only in hours, you will always be broke. But money invested, money disciplined, money compounded, that grows while you sleep. That is how you rise. And yet many of you cling to illusions. You believe fairness rules the world. You believe effort alone will be rewarded. You believe that if you play by the rules, someone will come along and lift you up. My friends, money does not obey fairness. It obeys power. It obeys calculation. I did not become wealthy by waiting my turn, nor by hoping for luck. I became wealthy by building systems, by studying weaknesses, by turning inefficiency into profit. While others chased oil booms like gamblers at a card table, I built refineries. I took crude chaos and made it into clean kerosene, into barrels that did not leak, into transportation that did not fail. They sought glory. I sought stability. They went bankrupt. I grew stronger. Here is the truth. The world rewards the man who positions himself where all others must pass. That is leverage. And leverage, not labor, is the foundation of wealth. I did not dig wells with my own hands. Others did that. I built the systems that processed and delivered. Others' labor flowed through my pipelines, through my refineries, through my distribution, and with every gallon of oil they pulled from the ground, wealth flowed toward me. Do you see? Position matters more than effort. If you do not understand that, you will work your whole life and still stay poor. But position is not gained by noise. It is gained by silence. Most men talk themselves into weakness. They chatter in negotiations. They reveal their desperation. They show their emotions on their faces. I learned to keep silent. I learned to let others fill the void with their fears, their limits, their needs. And when they had revealed themselves fully, I moved. That is how I secured rebates from the railroads. That is how I won concessions others could not imagine. I did not storm into their offices with bravado. I sat calmly with my figures, my reliability, my promises of steady business. They needed me more than I needed them, and in silence I pressed that advantage. This is why you stay broke. Because you cannot control your tongue, you cannot control your face, you cannot control your impulses. You wear your emotions like a signboard, and predators read them. The wealthy man, the disciplined man, learns to be unreadable. He does not reveal his fears, his hopes, his hunger, and because he cannot be read, he cannot be controlled. That, my friends, is how you move from prey to predator. Patience is another weapon. Most men are impulsive. They rush to buy when markets rise, and they panic to sell when markets fall. They chase every trend, every promise of quick riches. And in their haste, they are devoured. I moved differently. I bought when others panicked. I expanded when others retreated. I waited until opportunities were ripe, then struck with precision. Think of the lion in the tall grass. He does not waste his strength on every antelope. He waits until the kill is certain. That is patience. That is why Standard Oil grew while competitors collapsed. Wealth is not won by speed. It is won by timing. But discipline in the smallest things, is the habit that multiplies wealth. I tell you a story. In the early days, oil was shipped in barrels bound by wooden hoops. They leaked, they wasted. I ordered iron hoops instead. They cost more at first, but they saved waste. Then I instructed my men to shave 1 drop of solder from each can without harming the seal. 1 drop. A trifle, they thought. But over millions of cans, that drop saved thousands of dollars. Do you understand? It is not miracles that build fortunes. It is the daily discipline of refusing waste. Most of you ignore pennies and then complain when you lack dollars. I guarded pennies, and they became millions. Even when I was a millionaire, I did not abandon thrift. Because habits are stronger than circumstances. If you train yourself in waste, you will waste even when rich. If you train yourself in thrift, you will preserve even when poor. That is why most lottery winners die broke. They had money but not discipline. And that is why I, born poor, built an empire. Now let me tell you something darker. The moment you rise above the herd, they will hate you. They will curse your name. They will call you ruthless, greedy, dangerous. They called me an octopus, strangling the industry. They shouted in legislatures. They filled newspapers with attacks. But while they cursed, I expanded. While they raged, I cut costs further. While they shouted, I endured. I did not answer with words. I answered with results. And when they tried to break me, they discovered that I had built something too efficient, too patient, too inevitable to be undone. You must learn this. Do not expect love for becoming powerful. The lion is not loved by the antelope. The eagle is not loved by the rabbit, but the lion and the eagle endure. And the comfort is another trap. Most people will never escape because they cling to comfort. They want ease, indulgence, pleasure. They buy luxuries they cannot afford, and then wonder why they stay chained to wages. I denied myself comfort. I denied myself luxuries. Every dollar I denied myself became a soldier in my war chest, a brick in my empire. Comfort is the drug of the weak. Control is the reward of the strong. Which will you choose? So hear me well. If you wish to rise, you must take up these weapons: silence, patience, thrift, leverage. You must build systems instead of selling hours. You must discipline habits instead of indulging impulses. You must guard pennies as though they were soldiers, and you must be willing to be hated for your strength. Only then will you stop being prey and begin to be predator. Only then will you stop being broke and begin to build. I began with nothing but fear, discipline, and a ledger. You can begin the same, but only if you break your illusions now. Stop believing in fairness. Stop believing in luck. Stop believing that effort alone will rescue you. Believe in discipline. Believe in patience. Believe in leverage. Believe in yourself as the architect of your fortune. That is how I began. That is how you must begin. And if you do, the world will look at you as it once looked at me. Not with love, not with pity, but with awe and with fear. And in that moment you will know you are no longer ordinary. You want to know why so many men work their whole lives and die with nothing, while a few build empires that shape nations? It is because most men cannot see beyond today. They sell their hours, they chase their comforts, they panic when storms come, and they never learn the deeper laws of money. I did not build my fortune by working harder than everyone else. I built it by positioning myself where wealth had to flow, by controlling my own habits, and by turning other men's weakness into my strength. And I tell you this plainly, unless you master these same laws, you will remain ordinary no matter how hard you labor. When I entered the oil industry, it was chaos. Wells bursting uncontrolled, prices collapsing, fortunes made and lost in a week. The newspapers wrote of excitement, of adventure, of men striking it rich overnight. And do you know what happened to most of those men? They lost everything. Because they were gamblers, not builders. They chased glory, not stability. They mistook excitement for profit. I looked at the same industry and saw something different. I saw inefficiency. I saw waste. I saw opportunity in the cracks. While they gambled on gushing wells, I built refineries. I created order from chaos. I cut costs, improved barrels, demanded better transportation. And when the gamblers were broken, I was still standing. That is how empires are built. Not by chasing fire, but by controlling the fuel. The wealthy man does not rush, he does not gamble. He positions, he builds leverage. What is leverage? It is the power to multiply without multiplying effort. One man digs with a shovel, another organizes 10 men to dig, a third owns the rights to the land, and all their labor flows to him. Which of these is truly wealthy? The last. That was my approach. I did not dig wells myself. I positioned myself so that every gallon of oil had to pass through my system, my refineries, my pipelines, my distribution. Others worked, but their labor enriched me. That is leverage. Until you learn this law, you will never rise above wages. And yet leverage alone is not enough. You must learn the law of narrative. Wealth does not flow to the hardest worker. Wealth flows to the best story. Why did Standard Oil dominate? Because we built a reputation for stability, for clean kerosene, for safety. Others sold oil that exploded in lamps, ours burned steady. People trusted us. That trust was narrative, and narrative became profit. Do not think people buy the best product. They buy what they believe is the best. Do not think people follow the truest leader. They follow the leader with the strongest story. That is why brands rise, why politicians rule, why religions endure. Story shapes belief, and belief directs money. If you reject this because you think truth alone is enough, you will stay broke. The world is moved by narrative, not by raw fact. But there is another law, colder and harder, the law of sacrifice. Most of you will never be wealthy because you cannot sacrifice. You cannot deny yourself comfort. You spend for pleasure today and mortgage your future tomorrow. You crave ease when you should crave control. I denied myself comforts. I denied myself indulgences. I denied myself luxuries. Every dollar I saved became a soldier in my war chest, a brick in my empire. Comfort weakens. Discipline strengthens. If you cannot sacrifice, you cannot control, and if you cannot control yourself, you will never control money. I will tell you something most men cannot bear to hear. Wealth is built by exploiting opportunity. Now you hear that word, exploit, and recoil. You think of cruelty, injustice, evil. But exploitation in its pure form means nothing more than seeing what others miss and seizing it. When markets crashed, I bought while others panicked. When rivals wasted, I saved. When railroads needed volume, I gave it, and demanded concessions in return. That is exploitation. If you refuse to see and seize, someone else will exploit you. That is the law of survival. Wealth is war. And in war, hesitation is death. Consider the panics. When fear gripped the markets, the crowd rushed to sell at any price. I stood firm. I bought what they cast away. And when the storm passed, I owned the field. Their fear became my fortune. That is exploitation. Not cruelty, not evil, only discipline when others were blind. You can do the same. But first you must train yourself to resist the crowd. Do not buy when they are greedy. Do not sell when they are afraid. Be the lion in the tall grass. Wait, watch, strike when the herd is weakest. That is how wealth multiplies. Yet every weapon has its danger. Silence can become isolation. Patience can become paralysis. Leverage can collapse if you lack discipline. Narrative can backfire if exposed. Exploitation can corrode your soul if you abandon purpose. That is why you must balance ruthlessness with control. That is why you must bind your fortune to something greater than yourself. Because money without purpose is poison, money with purpose is power. That is why I gave. I gave not in scattered charity, but in systems. I built universities, medical institutes, research foundations. I gave more than $500 million, and I gave it with the same discipline I used in business. I demanded accountability. I demanded results. Because I knew wealth must serve or it will rot. The money you hoard will die with you. The money you direct with vision can live for generations. That is why my fortune outlived me. That is why my name is still carved into the stones of institutions a century later. Because I understood the final law, wealth is not only to be built, it is to be transformed into a legacy. Now let me speak to you directly. Most of you will never escape the cage. You will labor for wages, you will chase comforts, you will believe in fairness, and you will die with excuses. But some of you, a few, will hear these words and let them sear into your soul. Some of you will stop chasing illusions. You will take up the ledger. You will guard your pennies. You will master silence. You will cultivate patience. You will build systems. You will sacrifice comfort. You will exploit opportunity, you will shape narrative, and you will bind your fortune to a purpose greater than yourself. Those few will rise above the herd. Those few will become untouchable. Do not expect love when you rise. Do not expect thanks. The herd does not love the predator, the antelope does not love the lion, the rabbit does not love the eagle, but the lion endures, and the eagle endures. That is the choice before you. Remain prey or become predator. Remain ordinary or become untouchable. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Break them now. Build new chains, chains of discipline, chains of patience, chains of thrift, chains of silence, chains of purpose. And once you do, wealth will no longer be something you chase. It will be something that flows to you as it once flowed to me. You will no longer labor for money. Money will labor for you. I was born the son of a failure. I chose not to fail the same way. You may have been born into poverty, into weakness, into struggle. That is not your destiny. Your destiny is what you build with discipline, with leverage, with patience, with silence, with sacrifice, with purpose. That is how you escape. That is how you rise. That is how you become untouchable. So, my friends, I leave you with this question. Will you live as prey, predictable, emotional, chained to wages, chained to comforts, chained to illusions? Or will you rise as predator, silent, patient, disciplined, untouchable? The choice is before you. Choose, and choose now. For life is short, and the ledger is already being written. What will yours record?